So I did at least think of a way to get around the contact tracing app and that whole thing. But it's going to take everybody to do the same thing. And if everybody does this, it is going to completely destroy all the planning they've put in place, all the infrastructure they've already got in place, all the time and money they've already spent, completely wasted, useless, can't do nothing with it. But everybody has to do it. So be sure you mirror this video, pass it to all your social networks, Facebook, whatever, everywhere. Be sure that everybody hears this. How are you going to do it? What do you need to do? What does everybody need to do so that the contact tracing app isn't going to work? Very simple. You just need to leave your cell phones at home, just like the good old days. You can still keep it, can still use it, just use it as an old-fashioned phone. Don't take it with you to work. Don't take it with you to social events. Don't take it with you anywhere. Leave it at home. That ain't going to work for them. I think that's why now they thought up the backup plan is, having the dogs to be able to sniff out corona. Are you freaking kidding me? What a bullshit lie. I had, within the last 2 weeks, I had 2 phone calls come to my pharmacy. This has never happened before. The caller identified himself as Google AI caller. This is a Google AI call. It was a male voice, and it wanted to know, and it said just answer yes or no, if we had masks. The first call, they wanted to know if we had masks, face masks. And I didn't have time to think, so I said yes, and he said thank you and hung up. And I was pretty disturbed about that. Frickin' Google AI beast crap. And then a week later, I got another call. Same caller, identified himself as a Google AI call, wanted to know if we had alcohol. And I was so upset, at that point I didn't even answer and I hung up the phone. Where are all the healthcare professionals, all of them, who know that wearing a piece of cloth on your face is not going to stop viral particles at all? It's the exact same thing as throwing a bucket of sand into a chain link fence. Goes right through. Chain link fence ain't going to stop nothing, and neither are these cloth masks against viral particles. They all know this. You all know this. So why is everybody acting like this is okay? Why have to wear masks if it's not going to do jack shit? And nobody's even second guessing anything. It's really upsetting. I know that there are some people out there who are aware of the vaccine that's coming, don't want to take it, know what it is. People are aware of the antibody testing, of what it is, know they're not going to get it. And I know a lot of people have been thinking of different ways to get around different scenarios. And regarding the contact tracing, honestly, I've been giving this a lot of thought, and they really already kind of have most of the people for the vaccine, because obviously they're not going to be able to travel, they're not going to be able to buy anything, they're not going to be able to sell anything, they're not going to be able to go to school, they're not going to be able to go to work. You're not going to be able to do anything without one of the vaccines. And the antibody testing, which, if you understand what a huge lie the CV19 is to begin with, then there is more than reasonable expectation to understand that the antibody testing is part of the agenda. Don't get it. Don't get the vaccine. Don't get tested. But I've thought, if they know they've got you with the vaccine, or they're going to send people into being fugitives for the real diehard people who, we know who we are, we're not going to get one, and we pretty much know we're going to have to become a fugitive somehow. So I've been trying to figure out, with all the countries that are coming out with the digital immunity cards and immunity status and all that, then what's really the point of the contact tracing? And it finally hit me this morning. The contact tracing is going to be set up for those people that for no reason at all, they'll just be able to, point out any individual at all. If they don't like you for some reason, they're going to say that you've been in contact, somebody's phone has pinged yours, and now they need to come pull you out of your home for isolation and testing. Regardless that, this is just the biggest lie to begin with, why would they need to pull you or your child or your grandmother out of your house to be put in isolation if, your phone says you've been in contact with someone, or they claim that someone said that they've been in contact with your phone in so much distance of your phone? They're telling people to isolate at home. So now why do they need to pull you out and isolate you at these treatment centers? Again, just like the hospitals where, no family members will be allowed. And now they even, supposedly have dogs if, they come get you, put their hand on you, and now you've got some scent on you. Dog's going to identify you as positive. It's just going to be lies, lies, lies. It's just going to be one more way to just completely have power over every single individual, and there won't be anything people can do about it because they're going to say they have all these systems in place. So yeah, they're robust and they're accurate, and that's why they needed to yank you out and, your 4-year-old out or your grandmother out and start disposing of people that way. That's what the contact tracing is for. So if people think, I spent some time thinking, well, how can anybody get around this really if they know they're not going to take this vaccine, if that's what you want to call it? People could perhaps set up large, bartering centers, different communities in each state, where the people that grow a particular something or make a particular something can just start exchanging, just like it used to be, in the good old days, and exchange services, so goods and services, bypass the whole matrix altogether. Well, that sounds good and great and all that, and people could spend a lot of energy and time starting to set up those networks. And as a matter of fact, I suspect they probably have, so I thought about it myself. But really where they're going to get you is, everybody who's living somewhere is on a piece of property that's owned by someone that has to pay property tax. So what do you think they're going to do, given that you've seen every day it's a news story? First it's spread this way, and then it's spread by water, and then it's spread by AC systems. Nope, it's spread in pools. Nope, it affects mostly the elderly. Oh, I'm sorry, mostly the children. Oh, I'm sorry, mostly the blacks. Every day it's a different story. And people still don't see anything wrong with that. They don't even see anything wrong with the fact that they've started doing, mixed sample pools. If we were talking about, the bubonic plague or something, would people really allow things to be done this way? So you're going to take a whole bulk of samples, mix them all together, and then whatever that result is, that's how you're going to treat all the participants whose sample went into that pool. Yes, I'm not kidding. That's what they're talking about. And then the fact that the data is completely bypassing the CDC and going straight to Washington, D.C. now. I mean, have we seen that for any other massive, infectious disease or anything in history? Absolutely not. That means one of two things, and it's really difficult at this point to say which one it is. At first I was thinking that's pretty bad, because if they're going to bypass the CDC and just have it all go straight to Washington, because it's essentially going to be a military exercise, giving the whole world the vaccines in each country, well, that means there aren't going to be any researchers who have access to this data to start scrutinizing it like they have. And maybe, people have already been doing that a little too good, and they know things are going to come out more inconsistent than they have, and people are going to start getting wise, and they don't want that to happen. So now, researchers won't even be able to look at the data, won't be able to do anything with the data, won't be able to pool data, they won't be able to do anything. So that was bad. And then I thought, okay, well, maybe because it does appear that Trump and Mr. Mole Fauci really don't get along, and he knows that appearances, I'm just saying, it looks to me like Trump knows that this is all a ruse, and that's why him and Fauci don't get along. So maybe that's why he's using his administrative personnel to make that distinction, because they're saying the director of the CDC is saying that it really wasn't his decision, that it was, the people of Trump's administration that made that. So maybe it's just because Trump doesn't, trust him, so he wants the data there first. But then the CDC is still claiming that they still have full access to the data. But, I would think that would be a better case scenario if that were the truth. But the fact is, I kind of held out hopes for Trump for a while. But if you look at some of the things, just, the bare facts, if you've been, in any of the truth movement for any length of time, he's the one that signed and pushed for the 5G. So if that's the case, he really doesn't have any leg to stand on as far as I'm concerned. So it's just like, every leader of every country, why are all the countries willing to bankrupt themselves? It's a pretty big reason, because of what's coming, and it's all lies, and it's just, I can't stand to watch people that, are just acting like it's nothing. It's just, it's so painful. They've already released the digital immunity, certificate of immunity, passport, whatever card in Central Africa, several countries. It's a combination passport immunity card / MasterCard. What? In Italy, they chose their contact tracing app last week, and they're going to have exclusive COVID-19 hospitals, and they're doing large-scale antibody testing, just like they're going to do here, just like they're going to do in every country, because all the world leaders know what's coming, and they're all in on this together. There are no political heroes, no right or wrong. They're all together. People don't think it's a big deal that, the mint isn't producing coin currency anymore. That's just the first step. They're getting rid of cash. People don't seem to understand what it's really going to mean to not have cash. You're not going to be able to work a side job, to go get a meal or to pay a bill. You're not going to be able to, borrow money from anybody, because there won't be any money. If we're all fugitives from not taking this stuff, nobody's going to be able to help anyone, because there won't be any cash. Africa's got their card. Chile started their immunity card system called a release certificate. The elite are presenting the immunity passports as a way to speed up returning to work. And the only way to get a card is to either take the vaccine or take one of the antibody tests. So either way, they got you. They're only going to allow social distancing and masks until the vaccine is ready. We don't have much time. It's going to be the awake people versus everybody. And people just don't understand how hard that's going to be. Seriously, somebody's got to stop this, because, I know what's going to come, and I know what has to come. And I know what times we're in, and it's all there, and it's got to come. But we can, with just a little bit of work and a lot of prayer, at least push this off, hopefully a while. Think of your kids. Think of your, parents. Think of your grandparents. This is going to be really bad, guys. Really bad. So try to get this circulated to everyone, and really, if we can all leave our phones at home, at least that's one way that they can't zing us and show up knocking on your door and, pulling your kids out, pulling your spouse out, pulling your grandparents out, because it's going to happen. It is going to happen. I'm telling you. All right. Well, that's all I wanted to say for today. I'm going to try to make another video hopefully soon. I don't know when. But love y'all much. Saying a prayer for us all. I'll see y'all soon. God bless.